Since the cold settled deep into the Alps, and the mountain valleys began to freeze over with their familiar winter bite, something unexpected began drawing attention far from the usual ski resorts and icy trails. It was the new Tesla Model 2, a compact electric car that had been rumored, debated, and analyzed for months, now subjected to one of the most brutal winter tests Tesla has ever performed. On one of those brutally frigid mornings, a Tesla engineering team launched the model to prototype through winding, snowy curves. With thermometers marking temperatures that would terrify even seasoned EV owners, the cold was sharp, unforgiving, and deliberately chosen, a test almost cruel in its intensity, yet essential for proving a point Tesla was determined to make. The world has long questioned whether a small, affordable electric car could survive winter without losing its essence, without sacrificing performance, without becoming a prisoner of the cold. No one expected what happened next. The Model 2 emerged from this test with results that didn't just impress. They challenged the logic of the entire automotive industry, right from the first few kilometers. Engineers noticed something strange, something that contradicted established assumptions about batteries in winter. Even though the Model 2 uses an LFP pack, chemistry traditionally known to struggle in cold temperatures, the car showed a much smaller range loss than expected. Tesla had chosen a 250-mile route as the baseline, and under freezing winter conditions, the range drop was just between 38 and 42 miles. This wasn't nothing. Winter always takes something, but compared to similar vehicles from competing brands, which frequently lose 55 to 70 miles or more under the same conditions, this was a dramatic improvement. It might seem like a small numerical difference to outsiders, but in the world of compact EVs, where winter range can collapse drastically, this is almost a quantum leap. The Model 2's battery falls somewhere between 48 and 52 kilowatts, which most experts consider modest compared to the larger and more expensive battery packs currently dominating the EV market. Yet its freezing temperature performance showed clearly that luck wasn't responsible for these results. Something more sophisticated was at play. Tesla, drawing on years of accumulated knowledge from its more premium models, appears to have refined the Model 2's thermal management system in a way that extracts energy with uncanny efficiency. Even when nature seems determined to sabotage every electron, this type of efficiency, achieved with a small battery in harsh winter conditions, proves something powerful: that range and practicality don't have to be enemies, as icy, wet streets alternated with punishing glacial climbs. The Model 2 prototype continued running without hesitation. Every turn, every acceleration, every instance of regenerative braking forced the battery chemistry and control system to respond rapidly to stress. And the car performed consistently through it all. The feeling among the test team was unmistakable. The Model 2 wasn't simply resisting the cold. It was dominating the cold. Instead of winter punishing the EV, winter had become the dramatic stage where the Model 2 proved its superiority. This wasn't survival. It was performance. And the level of confidence it inspired was almost unprecedented for a compact electric vehicle. Drivers familiar with older EVs know the pain of winter driving. Many owners reported returning from short winter trips with their nerves on edge, constantly calculating battery percentages, fearing they would be stranded on icy roads. Studies and reports, such as those published by outlets like CNN, Brazil, and Inside EVs, repeatedly shown drastic range reductions in extreme cold. But the Model 2 seemed determined to rewrite that narrative entirely. It didn't just survive the winter test. It maintained usability, consistency, predictability, and confidence. It behaved like a vehicle that belonged in winter, rather than one struggling to stay alive in it. Tesla had effectively slammed its fist on the table and declared, "Electric cars are not just for mild climates. It's not just for city commutes, and not just for people with heated garages." If the Model 2 could achieve these results in real sub-zero environments, the impact would go far beyond spec sheets. It would change public perception. It would make EV ownership genuinely viable for millions of people who have long avoided electric cars purely because of winter anxiety. With the cold tapping at the doors and the silent hum of electric motors cutting through the frigid air, it felt like this test wasn't just about verifying numbers. it was redefining an entire category of vehicles. Small, affordable EVs have always been associated with winter limitations, with sacrifice, with reduced capability when temperatures fall. But here was the Model 2, boldly indicating a turning point. And as surprising as its winter performance was on the road, what Tesla had done under the hood was even more intriguing. During these tests, Tesla evaluated not one but two battery chemistries: an optimized LFP pack and a new variant using a silicon anode, a technology often discussed in futuristic labs, but rarely seen in affordable mass-market vehicles. Both batteries faced identical temperature cycles, and both sets of results shook the confidence of competing automakers. Because this test wasn't just about generating headlines, it was a direct demonstration that expensive technologies might now be within reach of everyday drivers. The LFP pack, long criticized for being the enemy of winter, received a new thermal management feature, a preheating system inherited directly from the Cybertruck. Tesla didn't simply shrink the Cybertruck system to fit a compact car, they redesigned its thermal logic so that heat could be redirected efficiently to keep the LFP cells within their optimal operating range. It wasn't a miracle. It was precise engineering applied with surgeon-like accuracy, and that detail made all the difference. The LFP battery didn't just survive the cold test, it performed better than any previous small Tesla battery ever had in freezing conditions. But the real jaw-dropper was the silicon version. Anyone familiar with battery technology knows silicon is both promising and problematic. It can hold far more energy than graphite, but it expands and contracts dramatically in cold weather, making it difficult to control. Yet Tesla seemed to have tamed this volatile behavior. At temperatures as low as -6 degrees, the silicon Anode Model 2 recorded winter range losses of only 31 to 35 miles, numbers that would be impressive, even for a premium EV costing over $100,000. But this was a car expected to be priced under $30,000. To see such stability at such a low cost wasn't just impressive, it was historic. Many luxury EVs costing over 10 times more don't deliver this level of winter consistency, according to engineers involved in the test. The secret to this breakthrough lies in a thermal bubble system, a kind of adaptive insulation around the silicon pack that responds dynamically to both internal and external temperature fluctuations. Instead of reacting late, once performance has already dropped, the battery actively protects itself ahead of time, warming intelligently, anticipating changes, and preventing the chemical slowdown that normally devastates silicon-based batteries in the cold. In plain language, the car thinks ahead. The battery behaves like an athlete who warms up methodically before running a marathon. And because of that, the Model 2 maintained higher efficiency, better range, and more stable performance for drivers in cold climates. This combination of high energy density and remarkable thermal stability creates a technological equation that is extremely difficult for competitors to match. And even before Tesla officially confirms large-scale production of the silicon anode version, insiders say it is already being treated as a new technical benchmark across engineering teams and industry analysts, because this battery prototype demonstrates something once thought impossible: low cost combined with premium winter performance. Just a few years ago, this combination existed only in academic papers and lab experiments. Now it exists in a real car, tested on real roads. In real snow, Tesla's competitors are still scrambling to balance cost, performance, and climate resilience. But the Model 2 appears to have jumped ahead in the timeline. This isn't an oversized prototype with experimental parts. It's a compact car that, if it maintains these results through final validation, could enter large-scale production with technologies that only existed in research labs until recently. And that will affect the entire automotive industry from top to bottom. Battery suppliers, material miners, car manufacturers, and of course, ordinary consumers. If silicon anode batteries become economically viable at scale, two immediate consequences will follow. First, the average price of efficient electric vehicles will drop significantly. Second, any automaker unwilling or unable to adopt similar technology will fall behind rapidly. And that brings us to the other critical moment of truth for any electric vehicle in extreme. No EV can escape this challenge completely. Cold batteries hate charging. Ions move slowly, resistance increases, and the car consumes energy just to warm itself up. For many popular EVs, charging in freezing temperatures becomes a frustrating experience marked by long waiting times. Sluggish charging speeds and annoyed drivers staring at slow progress bars. But the Model 2 responded to this challenge with an unexpected and extremely clever counterattack. During the test, prototypes were exposed to temperatures as low as -10 degrees,